Okay, so today I'm doing my tech set on the relationship between 2D and 3D objects and for a geometry class. So my content standard is visualize relationships between 2D and 3D objects. So basically being able to say that a square will lead to a prism or a cube or something like that. The literacy standard I'm working on is integrating knowledge and ideas. So being able to turn your quantitative and technical information into words in a text or visual form and something that you can use. So the first book in my tech set is Flatland by Edwin A. Abbott. So basically it shows a slightly dystopian world of people living in a 2D world where one curious square discovers that there might be an existence of a third dimension. And it shows like a whole social injustice thing, and it's just very neat where circles have all the power and the square ends up getting ostracized for it and everything. My next book is Sphereland, which is the sequel to Flatland, and it sort of picks up where the first one left off. A Square is ostracized and fired because of his revelations of the third dimension. And just like in the original one, when the protagonist reaches the end of the book, he explains that the reason he's writing the book is to explain the theories and everything to people in the future once they actually start accepting it. Both of these actually got made into movies as well, which is really neat. My third tech set book is Flatterland. So this one is unrelated to the first two. It's basically there's a line segment who lives in a 2D world who found a journal that was left behind by her great great grandfather, and the writings end up helping her find a thing called the Space Hopper, which takes her exploring all the different dimensions all the way up to the 10th dimension. And it's really Alice in Wonderland sci-fi, like things are weird, but it's neat kind of a book. The last book that I have in my list is The Joy of Pi. So basically, this book is all about pi and its history and its uses and where it's been throughout history, how people have always tried to study circles and find out pi and just other tons of interesting things about it. And I found this book to be really useful because a lot of kids are really intimidated when they first find pi because it's the first number they've encountered that's not written as a number. It's written as a symbol. But I hope that with this book, students would be able to understand that pi is still just a number. It's just written differently. So my first non-text based source is Flatland and Flatland 2, the movies. So these are basically cartoon recreations of the books. Um, and they're really neat, and I saw them when I was in high school, and they're just a lot more palatable than the books are because the books were written, the first one was written in 1880 something, and they're just a lot more useful, or a lot easier for students to grasp than the books. And my next non-text activity was basically to get the students involved in like a multicultural research activity where you can go through like your heritage and find random famous pieces of art or just like styles of art that have to do with geometry. Um, it's really, really, really common in African and Islamic art, but you can also find it in Hispanic art or European art and stuff like that. It's just a really neat thing. And lastly, the website I want to point out is this Khan Academy website, where there's specifically a video on what happens when you cut 3D objects in half and like what cross sections you can make and how the 2D shapes are formed in this process. So that's basically all I have. I hope y'all enjoyed it.